Hello there, it's Polly Brennan here. I like to create these videos to get you thinking and asking questions that might enlighten you in some way or improve your personal growth in some way. So I've got a question for you. It's pure and simple. What's your story? I wonder what that feels like to be asked a question like that. I'm asking you that because I'm a life coach, and often people bring stories with them to coaching that are unhelpful, made up, or not serving them well. And when I was, a few years ago, when I was in a bit of a sticky situation, I experienced life coaching. And one of the first things that she said to me when I told her my story about what was going on and what my upsets were, that was the first question she asked me. She said, "What's your story? And is this story serving you well?" So I want to talk to you about your story today. And what's your story? Because we all have a story in us. We all have, regardless of our age, gender, life experiences, we all have in us a story that we make up, that we take with us, that we carry around, and it can help us or hinder us. So today I want to ask you to think about what your story might be, and to get you to respond to the idea that you could potentially be the author of your story. So I want to help you choose a story that serves you well, and the first thing we have to do is focus on what that story might be and what we might make that story mean about us, and think about whether that story is a helpful story or a story that's holding you back. What does it say about you, and does it take you forward? Does it serve you well? So the first thing we have to do in any situation is we have to be able to think about events that have happened in our lives, and what the story is that we create about that, what we take that to mean about what's happened, and ask ourselves, in any situation we can say, what did I learn? Where's the gold? Because in every situation there's gold if you're looking for it. Even in difficult stories, there's always some learning, there's always some development, some growth, something that helped you learn something about yourself, made you stronger, taught you something important, helped you develop a skill. And also we have to reframe, and to create good stories we have to be able to take the good from stories around us and create a useful and powerful message for ourselves from the stories that we have. So it can be a very liberating process once we discover that we can choose the story. So how's about this? What if the challenge and journey that you took could become the story of triumphing in the face of adversity? What if the failed relationship could become the learning to embrace a new start, or independence, or reclaiming your independence back and being able to go solo? All sorts of scenarios, really happy scenarios can be very positive, very difficult scenarios can be life lessons. We can create the story. That's the most important message I want to get across to you today. So the big question is, what is your story? That's the question I want to ask you. What's your story, and how's it going to take you forward? So if you've bought into the idea of this, that perhaps you could be the author of your own story, then here's some questions for you to take to heart, to think more about, and to see how it can help you. The first question is, if you were the author of your own story, what would the title of your book be? If you could start a new chapter tomorrow and start a new part to the story, what would happen next? And I guess the next question then following on is, what small change could you make right now to help you have a story about your life or about you that's more useful to you? Maybe it's a more compassionate story, or perhaps it's a more adventurous story. How's about that? So here we are. It's a quote I really, really like, from a guy called 𝗞𝗜𝗧𝗕𝗔𝗚𝗦, and he says, if you're not the hero of your own story, maybe you're missing the point of humanity. So what's your story, guys? Think a bit about what you're carrying with you, and make sure it's a good one. Make sure it's a story about a journey, about learning, about positivity, about growth, about happiness. Make sure it's great. So that's it. Today's been all about stories. Got lots of stories to tell you, so keep watching these videos. There's plenty more. I'd like to start sharing some stories of change and growth for some of the people I've coached, so watch this space. I'll be blogging about this sort of stuff too, sharing case studies and learning about what helps other people create positive stories for themselves. So it's Polly Brennan from Adventures Coaching, signing over now. Bye now.